Hello everyone, welcome to the Bucket List Reviews. My name is Gibran and today we have a guest in our studio.
Hey.
It's Alper from DieFilmFabrik.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alper. It's quite difficult to pronounce in English, I think. But I'm the host, the producer and the writer of a German YouTube channel called DieFilmFabrik. We talk about movies all day and also like TV shows, and that's our job.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
So Alper, we're gonna talk about something really interesting today.
Yes.
And it has to do with video streaming and how video streaming is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
And it's actually rivaling now with cinema. Is video streaming killing cinema? Is it killing the cinema experience, or is it heightening it in a different kind of way? But before we get into that, let's backtrack a little bit and talk about how personally would you describe cinema experience? What exactly is cinema experience?
Yeah, it's a very special thing. I think it's an experience that you can't emulate in any way. And the question you asked, if cinema is dying, that's a question that's not just been around since months or weeks or years. It's been around since the beginning of cinema, actually. Now the cinema is in a state of being the victim, maybe, because cinema is actually afraid, the industry is afraid of video streaming services. In the beginning, when cinema came up, like 1895 is the magical year that cinema was born. Mm-hmm. But in the first years, actually, cinema was considered being the culprit, the murderer, because theater, for example, was very afraid of the cinema. Because theater said, now we have the big screen, now we can, you can go to Africa and film tribes, and you can go to Iceland and film waterfalls, and you can produce great cinematic experiences and great stories and stuff like that. So where's the point of having the theater? So that question, if one medium kills another one, has been around for ages. It has come up again.
Do you think it's ever happened that one medium did kill the other one?
Yes, that happened a lot. In the 1800s, panorama were a big thing. So were like huge buildings where you go inside and you stand on a thing and you have like a really huge drawing around you, and it's just goes 360 degrees in most of the cases, and there are lights, and sometimes they even put stuff like right in front of it, so it's kind of like three-dimensional. Actually, last year I've been to Cairo, to Egypt, and they still have a panorama which depicts their win against Israel. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience, and I thought, why is there no panorama like I could visit in Cologne, where I live? The simple answer is the cinema does everything that panorama does, but in a better way.
Do you think convenience is the big word here, since like watching films on Netflix or Amazon Prime, it's a convenient way where you can just be in your bedroom and watch it like with a group of friends and not really have to drive to the cinema and sit there with a group of strangers and then...
Yeah, because screens are getting portable. I mean, I have a smartphone which is kind of big, and I have the Netflix app on it, and I can watch like The Revenant on my smartphone right now. I can sit in the plane and watch on the plane, and I can just watch The Revenant, for example.
Do you think it was meant to be watched that way, like because it was meant to be watched on the big screen, to be experienced in such a way, but people who watch it on a tablet or an iPad, or do you think that's somehow destroying the art behind it?
That's a tough question and a very good question, and watching something is not a one-way street. It's not that the director creates something and just leaves it out there and you can do with it whatever you want.
Do you think we have a moral responsibility?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But that's just my point of view. I mean, there are a lot of people who just go to different sites on the internet and watch them like in very terrible quality on their netbooks or laptops or smartphones or whatever, and I'm not judging them. I think if you have the opportunity to watch it as the creator wanted you to watch it, then you have a moral responsibility to do that.
So Martin Scorsese recently made a deal with Netflix that his new film, The Irishman, is going to be released directly on Netflix. I find this kind of interesting. Like he's a veteran, and
he's been around,
for a long time, and he's made film in the more traditional sense.
Yeah.
And now he's like embracing this new technology.
But he was never a traditionalist like Nolan, for example, or Tarantino, or you name him. He was always going with the flow, with the time. I think it's the same thing with putting it on Netflix. He knows that people like watching stuff that way. And he says, so who am I to judge them? So it's okay.
Because I've been hearing about this film for a long time now, like Robert De Niro was starring in it. He really wanted to make this film like for, I don't know, 6 years or something.
Yeah.
But do you think this was a decision made by Martin Scorsese in a way that, because he saw more freedom and more opportunity in Netflix compared to a film studio?
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely. Because Netflix has created a very special thing with their platform. They're not like the traditional movie distributors who have to work with very unreliable statistics. For example, as we use the YouTube analytics, they can exactly see when people are watching, at what time of the day are they watching that movie. That is a very important way to create new stuff, because they're able to be more risky with that, with those information, and they're willing to trust some names more than traditional movie companies.
They're like stuck in the past or something. Yeah,
they always do reboots and another Robin Hood story, and always remakes and sequels and prequels and pre-sequels and stuff like that. And it gets boring, but it's just because it worked once, so why invest a lot of money for something that's maybe that could go wrong?
Let's talk about creativity and Netflix, because Netflix is being praised for its creative way of their handling or taking risk actually with a lot of like Marvel shows, and they're becoming more of a risk taker that maybe Hollywood was in the 70s or early 80s.
When New Hollywood came up, yeah.
Do you think there's more room for creativity right now on Netflix as in reference to Hollywood?
I think so, yeah. I was in Sweden. I had the honor to visit the set of the new Lars von Trier movie, The House That Jack Built. And I talked to his producer, which is a Danish woman. And she said that the feature film, the feature cinema is in a lot of peril and a lot of danger right now. And I actually felt that she was kind of afraid. And she said that the feature film has to take risks, that the movie industry has to react to that.
I mean, you have Moonlight, indie film winning Best Picture Oscar.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised because like I thought it's either going to be Moonlight or La La Land, but the whole fiasco happened of the announcement. But Moonlight won, and do you think this gives hope that the mainstream cinema is also trying to be something different, like the video streaming services like Netflix or Amazon?
I hope so, yeah, I think so. I think I think that Moonlight was a very special movie, but also it was also like actually a very Oscar-baity movie, wasn't it? Like,
but done right, I would say. Like,
done right, yeah, definitely.
It's not too obvious compared to, I don't know, some other film.
But also La La Land was also a courageous movie, I think. Also,
I have a different opinion about La La Land, but let's not get into that because we're gonna be sitting here forever. Then.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I was looking into year after year, like how video streaming is becoming more and more popular. Netflix is earning, I don't know, bajillion dollars every year. And you see they're coming really close with cinema at the moment and probably overtake it in the next couple of years or so.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to destroy the experience of going to the cinema and watching it in the traditional sense, or do you think it's going to be separate? Like,
I think it's going to be separate. I think cinema is not dying. I think it's an art that will live on. I have a lot of friends who watch a lot of Netflix and stuff like that, and I literally don't know anybody who goes to the cinema as often as me, but even friends of mine, when Moonlight came out, or Star Wars, for example, like movies that people talk about, they still want to see it in the cinema because everybody knows that the cinematic experience is something special. Because that's the best way, in my opinion, to watch a movie. There's this thing where Peter Jackson tries to sell you like 2 cinema tickets for an current cinema movie that is running in the cinemas, but you can also watch it at home. I think the cinema will live on. I'm not afraid of it because it's a very special experience. Yeah. As
we mentioned earlier, that cinema always had enemies, you know, like the invention of television. Like a lot of people thought the cinema is going to end because people are just going to sit at home and watch TV. But then they tried different ways of going around it, like they had CinemaScope. And then later on, we had home entertainment services like VCR, VHS, and, you know, like I grew up during that era where I watched a lot of films on cassettes. Now we come to an age where video streaming is rivaling cinema. But if we learn from the past that cinema might also survive this as the other mediums before it, how far are we supposed to embrace video streaming? Are we supposed to just embrace everything that comes with it, or do you think there are actual warriors like Tarantino or Nolan who want to stay, you know, with the traditionalist sense of cinema?
It's all about the art, man. I mean, the thing is, it's a quote from La La Land. It's very fitting. Like, how can you be revolutionary when you're still a traditionalist? There's nothing wrong with being a traditionalist. It's just another way of thinking. So, what's wrong with that? The work, the art, it has to be a tool and not the main subject.
This brings me to my final thought. Like, do you think some films are meant to be watched in cinema and some are meant or could be watched on video on demand? Regardless of the quality, like, would you go to the cinema and watch a comedy, like a commercial comedy?
I would, but I do understand what you're getting at. I'm sorry, we're creating a YouTube video right now. So this is not meant to be watched on a big screen. I don't care if people watch this on a mobile phone or on their laptop or on their TV. But I sure as hell know that literally nobody will watch it in a cinema on a big screen. Would be nice. So if you do, send us a picture. Yeah, I think there are directors like Scorsese who says, okay, watch The Irishman at home on Netflix. But there are also like DOPs, directors of photography, like Emmanuel Lubezki, who says that I created this for the big screen. You have to watch it in a cinema, do our art some justice. And probably there are movies that you should watch in the cinema. The thing is not the final answer. That's not the thing we should talk about. The debate is the great thing of this what's happening right now. There's a German saying, the way is the goal. I don't know, der Weg ist das Ziel.
Okay.
Not the goal is the goal, the way to the goal is the goal.
Yeah, I think it sounds much better in German.
In German it sounds better, yeah.
That's a nice way to conclude this discussion.
I think so too, yeah.
So everyone, that was the discussion about video streaming and how it's affecting cinema. I would really love to recommend you guys to the DieFilmFabrik channel. It's really awesome. The reviews are in German.
Yeah, you have to speak German to understand it. Yeah.
Pretty awesome actually. They do a lot of film reviews. They do film analysis sometimes. Yeah. So I would highly recommend you guys to check it out. And I'll leave the link to the channel in the description below.
Thanks for inviting me. I hope it was interesting and you liked what we talked about. Yeah, so see you next time.
Auf jeden Fall. We'll see each other next time. So, ciao.
Bye.